life in this world, after a long time living in it, I have discovered has as its greatest goal or greatest purpose is to know the one who made you. Obviously, I've come to the conclusion that there is one who made me. There's one who made each and every one of us, all of us individuals, and he is an individual. I don't believe it makes sense to say that the one who made you is a conglomeration of people, as we get to be individuals, but he doesn't get to be. Unfortunately, many traditions, men's traditions, whole churches, religions, denominations are built on the claim that our God is not an individual, which I think is a sad thing. It's a very sad thing, and it's something that if you're in the midst of, you might consider whether or not that's true. Because just as we know each other as individuals, and we don't try to tell people that there's something they're not, we shouldn't do that to our God. That's very disrespectful. I could say much harsher words. I have much harsher feelings about it. But I know these beliefs run deep, that people believe what they do about their God because grandma said it, and their pastor said it, or the church fathers said it, or whatever. And that's sad that we put those things ahead of our God. And I think we should think about what's important to him. Really stop and think about that. What's important to him? Do you really care what's important to him? Does it matter to you what he thinks? Does it? Does it matter to you? Do you care? Do you care at all who God is? Seriously, I want you to think about that. I want you to think about, does it matter to you? I believe this about God because what? Because God said it? Or because your grandma and your church and your pastor and your fathers and your school and your whatever said? Is that why you believe it? Because if you don't believe it because he said it, because it's important to him, then I dare say you don't believe in anything. You don't. You believe in absolutely nothing. And what I wanted to say in this short message is go to him. Ask him. Find out what's important to him. Because if I told someone about you and I was inaccurate in what I said, and I went and told them, and now these people believed all these things about you, wouldn't you want to be able to tell that person who had all these errors and faults about who you were? Wouldn't you want to be able to tell them, no, that's not who I am. Mark made a couple mistakes. He missed it. Let me tell you who I am. Have you ever asked God about him? About who he is? Have you ever really asked him? Because I think you would find that he would tell you something different than what churches, religions, denominations, church fathers, and yes, even grandmas tell you. As well-meaning as they are, they're all really just in a big echo chamber, repeating, well, you know what the church fathers say, don't you? You know what grandma said, don't you? Frankly, I don't care what they said. And it may seem offensive to you, but I don't. I don't care what your grandma said. I don't care what my grandma said. I don't care what Constantine said or any church father or any denomination. I don't care about any of it. Catholicism, Pentecostalism, Protestantism, Armenianism, Calvinism, they're all just a bunch of isms that have nothing to do with God. That's the only thing I care about. What does God have to say on the subject? And on the subject of God, I think he cares about who he is. And he cares about what we think about who he is. And we should believe in that. And all your religion, all your traditions can go away. And it will anyway, no matter how important you think it is. It's all going to be gone. You think you're going to be a denomination in heaven? You think you're going to be quoting this wise man or that family member or that denomination? That's all man's pride. That's all that is. That's what all this stuff is. It's man's pride just saying, I know better than you. It's just pagans and carnal people interpreting scripture according to their belief and according to their own little echo chamber within the giant echo chamber of religion and man's traditions. Don't believe in that. Don't rely on that. Even if it means being totally alone, because believe me, you will. And if you're a pastor out there, and I know You probably want to discard this because you know the risk. Any pastor who really believes in trusting in God and knowing God, he's going to lose everything. I know that. And so that's probably a lot scarier for you than me. Me losing a little fellowship is no big deal compared to what a pastor would lose. But if you really want to know God, then that should be your thing. Seek God. Get to know God. Want to know God above all else. If that is your number one thing, then you will have him. It says, when you seek for me with all your heart, then you'll find me. Not with your religion and traditions and what brother so-and-so said, or even grandma. It's when you seek for him with all your heart. Know God. That's the only thing in life. Assuming you are a created being, I believe I am. All the signs indicate that I am. I want to know my Creator. I want to know him above everything. And so, the most amazing things that have ever happened in my life are happening now after more than half a century. And I think there are most amazing things that can happen to anyone. And they should happen to you if you want them. And they will if you ask for them. God, I want to know you. I don't want to know religion. And you might wind up in a building. You might wind up doing all kinds of things. But that won't be your priority. If your number one thing is to know him, to know him, to know God, to know the Creator, to be in the presence of the one who made you and loves you. You know, he likes being around you too. It's just you got a block between you and him. If you're in religion, if you're in traditions, and whatever you're in, that's a block. You can't, the both of you can't experience each other. You really want to experience God, seek him. Put your traditions aside and seek him. And don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. He'll take care of all the details. He'll change you from the inside. Don't seek to get good so you can get him. Seek him. He'll do all the other stuff. He'll do all of it. And you'll have the greatest life you ever had. You'll experience the most amazing things you've ever experienced. And you won't fear anything, even total and utter rejection from everyone you know. Family, friend, church. It won't matter to you because you'll have Jesus, your one and only God. In Jesus' name.